we were teenagers at this point in time, and Tom is 4 years older than I am, so that's a big span when you're teenagers. We really just had a huge crush
We did.
on each other. We really did. We were not, wearing rings or, doing any of that. So we just really liked each other. We had
did.
fun.
We had been friends for a couple of years. He was home in Phoenix, where I was living over Christmas break. He asked me out on a date, but I wasn't totally sure if it was a date or just he was looking for a friend to hang out with. And we went to Postino's on Central.
We have a good conversation. I feel like it's going well. We should hang out on New Year's Eve. She's like, oh, actually, I got plans with my brother that night. And so I'm like, okay, well, there's a sign. She, agrees to, give me a ride from her car to mine. We're putting on our seatbelts, and I'm like, well, I'll, see if I can give her a kiss on the cheek. I go, and then she just gives me a hug. So there's the second sign that I'm just dead in the water.
I totally missed the signal. Like, I was buckling my seatbelt, didn't really see that he was going in to try and give me a kiss on the cheek, and we just had this weird, really awkward interaction.
Let's go back to 58 for just a minute.
Oh, okay.
Okay, 58 in September we went off our separate ways. You to college and I to the Marine Corps.
Right. We kept in touch over the years through Christmas cards. By the time you and Susan got married, Bill and I had our family. We had our girls, and you had 2 girls as time went along, and so we had birth announcements that came. So we corresponded that way.
We finally just had to be a little more direct with each other, and it was like, I'm interested in you. I'm interested in you too. We dated long distance for a year.
We dated long distance for a year, and
That'll hone your communication.
that'll hone
skills.
That'll hone your communication skills pretty quickly.
We would watch a movie at the same time, start it now. We tried to read the same books at the same time.
And we did that for a
So it
while.
felt like we were doing things together, even though we were far apart.
After Susan died in August of 78, the girls and I were doing the best we could. I was making a lot of meals. I was guidance director at our high school. We seemed to be a good little team of 3. I hadn't seen you since 65, right. And so I came down in my little suit. I had a little seersucker jacket on and my little chinos, and I came down with my little tie. And I was going to shake your hand. I was really nervous. So you said, you can do better than that. With that, we gave a hug. Big hug. And so we hugged.
I had this ring in my pocket for probably 2 weeks, just waiting for the right time.
In a plastic bag.
In a plastic bag. I had it in a plastic bag.
I have a photo from a couple weeks before he asked the question, and if you zoom in, I didn't realize this at the time, but if you zoom in, you can see the outline of the ring in his pocket that he was just carrying around. And somehow I never noticed for 2 weeks that you were protecting your pocket. You had this plastic baggie with a ring in it.
We had dinner reservations. As we're walking out the door, I get down on one knee. A couple years ago when you said that you blew, I think I said you blew me off on New Year's Eve. To hang out with your brother. So do you remember that? She said, yeah. And I said, well, how about this New Year's Eve, you become my fiance? And she said yes. And
then later clarified that you also wanted me to be your wife.
Right, I did not ask that. I mean, in this moment, I'm just stumbling to get these words out. And I remember saying something like, oh, I am so glad. And she's like, do not say that you're glad that that's over.
Spring of 81.
Spring of 81, when you came to New
You
Hampshire.
invited me.
I invited you.
I wasn't sure if I would go or not, and I thought, yeah, we really were such good friends. It would be a fun time. It'd be nice to meet your girls and so on. Never thinking that we would ever be married someday. It wasn't in my mind. And
one of our little trips was down to the Boston Gardens.
With the girls.
With the girls. Lo and behold, as we're walking along, the youngest daughter, Heidi, took me a little aside and she said, Dad, how do you think it's going? I said, I think it's going great, Heidi. They were both so excited, they took to you right away.
During that visit, that life change in the sense that we were not just super friends, but I think we fell in love during that time period.
I think we did too.
you asked me to marry you in September.
in September, Pico's restaurant over the
Strawberry
Mousse.
Yeah,
Good.
yes,
Right.
yes, at the restaurant.
At the restaurant.
And I said
And you
yes.
said yes.
Yes, I did say yes.
Yep, it has been, is, and I'm sure always will be, an unbelievable ride that I could never have imagined. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Oh, you're welcome, honey.
Thank you. Well, that's our story.